All right, welcome back, everybody. Starting a new series called Power to the People. And we are going to go over just the tutorials today. And then in the following episodes, I'll do some gameplay for you guys. So let's get to it. So the first tutorial is the basic tutorial. Learn the basics about Power to the People and how to set up a simple power grid to supply energy to a small city. So we've got your climate information, average wind speeds, average rain or snowfall, and then your average temperatures throughout the months. And then candles and Heige residential customers only get unhappy after 1 hour without power, as they take it as an opportunity to light some candles and cozy up. Home cook, no power usage spikes for restaurants at dinner time. And the tutorial is a very limited selection of power buildings at your disposal. So let's get to it. So pretty much the same as any other over-the-top game. You've got your, you can spin around and you can move the screen back and forth like that, and you can scroll in and out. Pretty standard stuff. First thing we're going to do is go through the steps in the game. So let's go here. Name's Bob. Your objective is to deliver electricity to ever-growing population, trying to keep customer satisfaction high. That's pretty much the whole gist of the game is that even in the standard gameplay, I believe that, you're trying to keep your satisfaction. If it ever falls below 50, game over. Game's paused till you put down your first building. Top left shows you your month, day, year, miles per hour, temperature, time of day. Pause play. Bottom right, map. Middle left, power stats, demand trends, total demand, power supply, generation capacity, etc. And like I was saying before, you got WASD, you got C and X to zoom out or scroll, and then Q and E to move around. So you got your high voltage and your low voltage. When you drop down your power plants, those are going to be all high voltage. High voltage uses high power voltage lines. They go to a substation, which then converts it to what they're calling low voltage. And then you run low voltage to the town, and then that's what's consumed by the users. So that's all we have in the tutorials. We're gonna drop down a gas-fired plant. Wants us to put it over here. And then of course, we're going to grab the substation, like I said, drop it. The yellow around the outside of that, you want to try to keep that on the outside of the town. If you get that too close to the town, they will start getting unhappy because it's a eyesore. So we're going to do the high voltage lines in between the station, the substation, and the power plant. And then we're going to do low voltage lines to supply the town. Just like that. And then like that. And then fast forward, shows your demand and usage. And then how the game works is it plays throughout the day. You can fast forward it to the end of the day. It always stops at 12 a.m. tells you what your profit is and all your totals for the day. And then once you're done with that, it's paused and you can go and do all your upgrades and everything you need to do with the money that you just have. And then you kick off the day again. Fast forward through all this, because that's pretty much the gist of the first tutorial. Let's go to the next one and let's get to the advanced tutorial. So on the advanced tutorial, we're going to take a town that already has what we've pretty much done to the most part. And we're going to demo what happens when it overloads. You got to click here and do repair. And it repairs it as the time goes forward. Also shows some colors that, for example, these are running hot. And the reason why they're running hot is because these things can only hold a capacity of 30 megawatts. And it was pushing, the demand was more than that. So of course these lines are getting hot and eventually they blow. And of course, if that's the only power line you got going to the entire town, then the entire town's without power until you get it fixed. So what it's saying to do is to mitigate that. Let's drop a second pair of lines from the substation to feed another part of the town. And that way, if this side blows for whatever reason, then this side's still going and can backfeed the town. This is the power plant. This is a biomass plant. And it's wanting to talk about battery backup. So to use battery backup, what we do is we go to this number 4 here. And we're going to grab a lithium ion battery farm. And again, the yellow lines, you want to keep it outside the city limits because they will get mad about how ugly it is. So they've got it dropped as close as you can to house. And then of course, once you've dropped the battery, you're going to need a high voltage line. And the batteries have to go between the power plant and your substations. They take high voltage, so you need to feed some high voltage lines to it, just like that. And then what it's talking about here is we also in the game, every day that you complete a cycle for an entire day, you get these research tree points, and you can use them on this research tree. The first ones they're wanting to do here are help your power plant increase their output and uptime. This particular one is staff training, and it basically takes the maintenance downtime for a power plant reduced by 50%, which is, you really want that because the power plants do have to go down for maintenance. And if you've only got one power plant and you don't have any battery backups to draw off of, your city will be without power and they won't like it. And your overall satisfaction will drop drastically fast. So we're going to go ahead and put 2 points in that. Close it out. This little silly part of this thing, it's wanting me to bypass the tell it to skip it, just to show you what it'll do if you don't do the maintenance. You'll have a side effect. And the side effect is that the power plant Alright, so click on the perform maintenance. We're going to go ahead and tell it to do the maintenance now instead. And it's down. And while it's down, it draws off the battery. And that's it for that tutorial. So we're going to go ahead and go to the third tutorial. So the third tutorial is the expert tutorial. And this one is basically on how to do distributed substations and power lines and strategies to cope with larger cities. Let's get it. So we're starting with what looks like a substation and not a power. So, oh, it's wanting me to do wind. Let's see. It's this. What's it telling me here? The older power lines that used to connect to the coal-fired plant, you can just put the new gas-fired plant over here and we're good to go. Okay, so I'm dropping a gas-fired right here. Boom! And then the power is in the house. What's it griping about here? Oh, it's drawing too much power already because it's friggin' hospital and... Exactly. How much the city has been growing lately. It's used way more power than what the single power line can handle. So I'll go to the research, and it's wanting me to use some points in the improved cable alloys. What this does is it increases the capacity of those lines by 10%. So that should help with that. I have to repair that. Wasn't enough. So we're going to repair that. And then we're going to put wind turbine. So you can grab wind and it only lets you put it in certain places. This is kind of up on a hill. So boom. And then base station is going to be here. Big power line, just like you would with anything. And then low power tied in right here. See what that does for us. Looks good. See here we got demand versus power now is looking pretty tasty. And that's it for the tutorials, folks. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy to do, but once you get in, you will find it is a little challenging. I found it challenging right off the bat, overloading the power lines. That's something you got to really get used to. You can have as much power as you want, but if the power lines can only handle 30 megawatts or whatever it is, and the city's drawing more, you got to figure out alternative routes in there and split it up, and it gets pretty crazy. So I think it's going to be pretty fun. But that's the tutorials for now, folks, and I appreciate y'all hanging out. And if you want to smash that like button or even subscribe so you can see some more of the gameplay of this series. I would appreciate it. Got any comments? Put them in the comments about it. We'll see what you'd like to see next. I'll see you next time. Thanks.